There's a part that the 21st century Christian has deleted from Christian life. It is suffering for Christ. That there is a suffering that can be associated with the fact that you have an allegiance to Christ. Because sometimes in obeying God, you that you are in the will of God, you can't trace progress. And yet those who have progress can't catch up with you. You are looking at things, you have all it takes to get these things done, and people will hail you. But it will be a common knowledge between you and God and the devil that you failed and compromised to get that thing done. And you know if you fail to compromise, you may suffer. And let me say this to you. To follow God, there is a suffering that comes with it.
Yes, sir.
Who told you that every time you say yes to God, you will have an instant testimony? It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. Give me the scripture. Look at what I was saying. He said, look at it. Be sober. Be vigilant. For the devil, your adversary, he keeps roaming about like a wounded lion, seeking for whom he may devour. The Bible went on to talk about an adversity that is accomplished in our brethren. That's the reason why it is tough to trust God. It is because there's a measure of suffering that comes with it. Look at it. 1 Peter 5:8 says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walking about, seeking whom he may what? Devour. Look at verse 9 now. Quickly. Whom resist steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same affliction, the same what? Affliction is accomplished in your brethren in the world. These are not your brethren living in sin. These are your believers in this earth realm. Let me give you an instance of what that affliction means. One time, I think I mentioned this in passing before. One of my friends was talking to one of our pastors. And he said, concerning me, he said to him, he said, you see your pastor? He said, he's different. He said, we're all praying together on campus. And we're all praying. If you are built with me on campus, you will pray and you fast. He said, but by the time we finished, many of us took break because of pressure. He didn't take that break. He said we couldn't come back to catch up. Some of those breaks were 2-year break, 1-year break. Let me tell you something. It is not everyone that can choose to live their life based on calculation. The moment God puts a mark on you, He must tell you how you live your own. The pressure now is that everybody's, and I'm speaking, can I speak?
Yes, sir.
The pressure now is that, okay, everybody's going. See, you know me, I'm all for do what is right. Yes, but there is a place of divine leading, and there is a part of it that may not make sense to your environment.
Yes, sir.
Are you following what I'm saying here?
Yes, sir.
Because sometimes, in obeying God, you that you are in the will of God, you can't trace progress. And yet those who have progress can't catch up with you. You look at it, you can't trace the progress. If they call for any reunion now, you look like the odd one, but yet you have gone light years ahead.
Yes, sir.
Daniel did not say check us out after 2 days. He said 10 days.
Yes, sir. Wow.
If you did it in the 9th day, it will look like he didn't make progress.
Yes, sir.
Are you following what I'm saying here?
Yes, sir.
It's a choice to trust God and align. We are fusing with Him.
Yes, sir.
It's difficult, and I must tell you, it's tough. To live the life that is powered by His instruction, what He says is tough. Because sometimes it just doesn't make sense. And if it is the ways of the Spirit, stop expecting it to make sense. Don't align. It doesn't make sense. People hear some of your decisions, they laugh and say, like, guy, they think. When it comes to the things of the Spirit, no think, believe.
Yes, sir.
Hey, you know they think, I know they think, I believe. I believe. Say it again, I believe. Now, this is a spiritual life. This is the life of a spiritual man. Look at what he says. Still reading that Romans chapter number 5. There is what is called the things of the flesh. I remember when, let me share a story with you. One time, I was already thinking, looking at my background, sometimes place where many people that you know are waiting here that you are filled. It's different. It's like you have a point to prove. Yes. If you come from places where success is not really the order of the day, it's like you have a point to prove. Particularly when you are the one who is praying and fasting. You want to show them that the fasting led me somewhere. You can't do image laundry for God. You can't help him. You can't help God look nice. He is God. Are you following what I'm saying? You can't help God look nice. So I began to plan, and just plan. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then, yes, I'm going to apply here. And it is fantastic. Honestly, it's fantastic. Our plans are good, as long as it is God. And it doesn't matter how intelligent they are, if it's not God, they are bad. They will sink you. You see, if you are not aligned with God, you can't have a better plan for yourself. You can't better plan your life. Tell yourself now, you can't plan your life better. You can't organize your life better. You can't give to yourself rightly what is not in God's plan for you. If it is not in God's plan for you, you can't give yourself. If you try to get it, it will destroy you. Are you feeling what I'm saying here?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I remember I was in the lecture. We're having a lecture. I think it was epidemiology. Then a particular doctor, he was on his way to becoming a professor. Then he held my head. And he was looking at me, more like, guy, I like you. And he was screaming, please, don't use this head to do ministry. You see, you are to become a prof. And he was saying it from the class. And that was the time that God was telling me actively about what my life was about. So there's the point where, and there's a point where you are thinking that we are the guys that will do some research and there will be some medical breakthrough and there will be this and there will be that. So when he said that thing, it entered into my soul. The prayers I've been praying for days and weeks and all that, everything became cloudy. And I started seeing myself in different schools around the world that I'm going to get to, and then we're going to do this, and we're going to break their record, and we're going to do that. If it is success you want, it is easy. But if it is God you want to follow, it is tough. Just need to know that. If it is success, forget it, it's easy. It's easy. As a matter of fact, it is even surprising that people are not successful. Because the principles are littered everywhere. They are littered everywhere. It's an open secret. It's not tough. So, but to use success as a proof that you know God, you lie. I'm saying things can be happening in your life now, and everybody clap. Hey, can you see what the Lord has done? And God is saying, count me out. And people can even start coming and say, tell us your story. Your story is so inspiring, and it is success, not God. And the issue is that what God didn't supply, He can't maintain. He won't. And the reason why I'm trying to show you all this, all right? The reason why I'm trying to show you all this is because at some point, I'm telling you, if you are not there yet, you'll be there. The pressure will be so much you pick either success or God. You will want to. It will be placed on your table. You will have to make your own choice. You will get to that point. At some point, He will allow the criticism. He will allow the disbelief. He will allow many things, and you say, God, and He will not defend you. And He will not talk. And He might not give you any reassurance. If you are a baby, He will talk. If you are a son, trust Him. There are times you are saying, speak, Lord, and He said, I've spoken. Are you feeling what I'm saying here?
Yes, sir.
Because this one let me just look away. Now look at this. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh. That's the programming of the world. They show you. They flaunt it. It is said in movies, in songs. It's becoming the mantra of our society. Now, who they successful? I know God, right? Because, see, there's a way you believe all those things that once there's trouble, you believe you're out of alignment. Oh, yes. You believe you're out of alignment. So like Paul, that they were beating up and down now, you feel you have failed God. Meanwhile, it was in the will of God. Or once you find yourself, and I'm telling you, my wife is here. We found ourselves in situations sometimes that nobody around us knew. And we both knew that the meal that is about to be cooked in the house is the last we can provide. We found ourselves in situations where we knew that there was no more money to buy our daughter's diapers. And that doesn't mean we are failing. And that doesn't mean we are walking in sin or living in sin. The attempt to have it always will sink you. I'll tell you. Because you do many things that are wrong. Just to prove a point. You know, when we got the, Light Nation Abuja, you understand, the letter about this place. I got many insinuations. Your kind of message, can cause trouble. I shared the story when cultists came to drag me out on the pulpit. Trouble, no be today. On the pulpit, dragged me by my trousers. And yet I was in the will of God. I got someone born again. Is that wrong? The wife of the capo, or what they call them. Is that wrong? Huh? Now my life she received. The girlfriend. I got her born again. And got her filled in the Holy Ghost immediately. Then she was asking me, I don't feel comfortable about this relationship with this guy anymore. I said, you know what to do. Now, me tell her, how is that, man? I really don't feel comfortable about this dating this guy. I said, yeah, you know what to do. Now, yes, with that. So the moment the girl went back and ended the rubbish, they knew that Lazarus, we will deal with him. And when they dragged me, members were upstairs. Some were saying, we leave our pastor. They can't pass that. They will not pass that place. And I was still hearing, I'm telling you fact. I was still hearing some people saying, we've been telling pastor to small. And I knew if they beat me here in the will of God, have you chopped slap before for Christ? It doesn't mean you are not in the will of God. There's a part that the 21st century Christian has deleted from Christian life. It is suffering for Christ. That there is a suffering that can be associated with the fact that you have an allegiance to Christ. And it's correct. At least Abraham proved it. That when he was waiting for a child, he could get the job done. When the wife referred Hagar, was there struggle? Once. Here cometh Ishmael. You will keep betting Ishmael if you do it by yourself. See, listen. When God was saying you should go and sacrifice Isaac, God said only son. Is it that God doesn't know math? God doesn't see what faith did not produce.
Wow.
In Christian walk, the end doesn't justify the means. The means is more important than the end. The end, are you feeling what I'm saying here?
Yes, sir.
It is in the world we say that that's not the language of scriptures. The end, that it ended like this, doesn't mean no. If this church that you are here doesn't mean we're in the will of God. If we are outside in the sun, are we still in God's will? Will you still come? Are you that rugged? And say, where did the apostle miss it now? Only God knows what he's going to go and what he's going to go and do now. And for us to be experiencing this, God must have left him. Because Jesus was still in the will of God, both when Mary poured the expensive oil on his feet and when he was on the cross. Both was the will of God. I said both was the will of God.